Good evening and welcome to Beyond the Front Page, a show brought to you for the spring 2024 semester here at CU Community College on the college's system with Verizon Fios, Spectrum, as well as ARMA, the Auburn Regional Media Access, and the college's radio station 89.1. I'm your host, Guy Cosentino. We are delighted to have in our studio today some folks who are going to talk about a very interesting project that is occurring on Sunday, March 10th. At the Owasco Fire Department from 8 to 1 p.m. We have Life Scout Nate Bennett, who's assigned his Scouts for Swabs event. It's an Eagle Scout project. The effort is to get people to sign up for a bone marrow registry. In the studio, we have Mr. Bennett, as well as his fellow Life Scout, Mitchell Homick, as well as an old friend of mine, John Hai, who is an Eagle Scout. You're never a former Eagle Scout, as well as the leader of Troop 21 to talk about this event, but more importantly about scouting locally. Gentlemen, welcome to the studio. We're delighted to have you. I saw you in December and talked about this great item that you're doing. But for those who don't know, what is a bone marrow registry?
So the registry is just a way for people who actually need. It's a way for people to register so that if there are people who end up matching stem cells with them, that they will then be able to donate stem cells to the person who they match with, and it could potentially save their life.
And so your event is when again?
It's on Sunday, March 10th.
And where are you holding it?
At the Owasco Firehouse.
And it's from 8 to 1?
Yep, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
And so do you have to pay to register, or
no?
How's the process work?
So it doesn't cost anything. There will be kits at the actual event, and so all the people will have to do is follow the instructions in the kit, swab themselves there, and then give me that back, and I will mail it to the National Registry, and they will connect you.
So is there only one? I was going to ask because I did some online reading, and is there only one registry overall, or are there several different registries?
So there's a main registry. I can't say if there's other registries or not, but I know there's a main one, and the National Marrow Donor Program, which is what I'm doing the event through, they will connect people to the main registry.
And how'd you come up with the project?
Well, my parents and I were trying to come up with ideas for my Eagle project, and they told me to try and come up with something that actually means something to me. And since I want to go into like the medical field, I thought, why not host a blood drive or something? And I started looking into more stuff like that, and I found this, and I thought it would be a great idea.
And so when you're doing this, do people have to register in advance, or can they just walk in the doors at Owasco?
So they can just walk into the doors at Owasco, and so to register, they'll have to sign up online, and that will like note. But
you can do that at the firehouse?
Yes, there will be a QR code they scan. But if they can't make the event, the QR code will be shared online, and they can register and then say that they need a kit sent to their house. So they'll be able to, if they can't make the actual event, they'll still be able to register.
So do you have a hope of numbers that you want to reach?
I would like to see 50 to 75 people register at the event.
Okay. And is there any particular age you have to be?
Yes, the age to register is 18 to 40. However, if you're below 18, then you can still pre-register, which will still put your name it'll put your name like in the database, but you won't be able to send anything. And then when you turn 18, they'll send you a kit for you to get you back in the registry.
Okay. So how long have you both been in Scouts?
We've both been in Scouts.
I would say 9 or 10 years.
Yeah.
9 years. So you started at Cub Scouts?
Yeah.
Yes.
Both at Owasco?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck with it?
Yep.
So we know your Eagle Scout project, which will occur in about 2.5 weeks. We know what that is. What are you doing for yours?
So for my Eagle Scout project, it's called Libraries for Equitable Literacy. And there's 2 parts to it. The first part is I'm building 2 libraries for the town of Troop at Sawyer Park and then the sports complex that's there.
When you say you're building libraries, describe. You're not.
So a little library is kind of like a mailbox where people can go if they're interested in finding a book. For the Sawyer Park, it's going to be targeted for like younger children, but for the sports complex, there will be like novels and other things to read.
And do you swap in? I know there's some lending libraries in Auburn that people have in their neighborhoods, so do you bring a book take a book?
So
Or you
yeah, the
ca-
process is to take a book, leave a book. And the reason why they're in troop is because those are like the outskirts of Auburn and other areas, and they may not have access to going to these other places or maybe a library. And as someone who's really invested in like English and literature and reading, I feel like it's an important project to have. But for the other aspect of my project, it's to help the Auburn and Large City School District. They already have a few little libraries, but they're in bad shape. So my goal with that is to refurbish them and possibly have some of the children like paint them, make them better suited for the elementary schools.
And when will your project take place? Over what time period?
I've been working on it over like the past like half of a year, but I'm trying to get it all done by late spring.
Okay, so you'd like to both be Eagles by the end of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that look. It's like, yeah, let's get it done. Where do you both go to school?
We both go to Auburn High School.
Okay, and you will graduate, you're both juniors?
Yeah.
And so what's the plan in 2026 for you?
I'm thinking about going into a pre-law way, maybe majoring in like history or English,
Okay.
but generally like that path.
Are you looking at any particular colleges yet?
I'm not sure about where exactly I want to go to college, but I don't know, just somewhere more local.
Is this the SAT time prep?
Yeah, definitely.
You guys are all, are you all
Mhm.
taking the prep course or not yet? We're just getting ready. Got the thick books yet?
No, I have like a tutor for the ACT.
ACT, okay.
I
So-
broke into my book during Christmas.
Did you?
Yeah,
And how many times have you looked at it since then?
actually a few times.
Have you? Good for
Yeah.
you. And what would you like to major in?
I would like to major in biology or chemistry, and then end up going down like a pre-med track.
And any schools you've been looking at particularly?
Mm, I don't know. I've thought about the University of Rochester.
Okay.
That's it.
U of R is a great school.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Good for you. So I want to talk a little bit about the process. So somebody walks into the Owasco Firehouse at 9:30 on the 10th,
Mm-hmm.
and what happens to them?
So, when you walk in, there will be a room that will have it will have it all set up, and there will be other stuff there too. But my event will be there, and so they'll just come up to one of the tables. There's different stations, kind of by tables. So one station will be like the educational station. So if people aren't sure what it really is, they'll educate them on it. And then there's like the actual swab station. So if they are just coming and they want to get their kit sent out, then I'll just give them a kit at the table, and then they'll give me it back, and I'll end up mailing it off.
So this is an invasive. This is a cheek swab.
Yeah, it's just in the mouth.
So how long does this whole process take?
Well, for someone to get to do their kit, it would probably take less than 5 minutes.
Okay. And what will scouts be doing during this period of time? Are there going to be other?
Yeah, I'm gonna have other scouts there that are gonna be volunteering and helping with my event, and I'm just gonna be leading them. So I'm gonna have
Which is a requirement. Part of the
Yeah,
requirements
yeah.
for being an Eagle Scout
is
are
leadership. Yeah.
Leadership. Okay. Is that the same with your book project as well?
Hmm.
That
I
you'll
have to assign leadership to help construct the libraries, and then for the ones I'm just refurbishing, I have to get a few scouts or maybe my friends to help sand them down, paint them.
Okay. And we should ask a few questions, if you don't mind, about Troop 21. I've known you forever. Your dad and your brother were both in scouting as well. You're an Eagle Scout. How long have you been in scouting?
Well, I started with these young scouts, still young scouts, and they were much younger. They were Cub Scouts.
And you have
so
a
with
son.
them- with
You have a
them,
son who's going to be a third
Colton,
Eagle Scout.
Colton will be the third Eagle Scout in the Hai family. Yes. Well, if he makes it, he's not there yet.
Okay.
He's still working on his project.
Does he know what his project is?
He does. He's redoing 3 trails at Everest Park. So
Okay.
he has to come up with a legend when you come in and make it conservation minded, leave no trace type of principles. And he has to relabel, design the trails that are there. There'll be a map, they'll all be remapped and named. Make it leave no trace friendly and conservation friendly.
And all of these are Owasco based, so you've been Owasco based forever?
Yes, well, prior to that, I was a member of Troop 14 back at Calvary Church, back when I was a kid.
Okay.
Probably did close to 10 years in scouting there, 8 to 10 years. And with these scouts here, another 8 to 10 years, from Cub Scouts to Webelos, now into Boy Scouts. And I was gone for a long period of time with the military in college. And when I retired, I wanted to give back. Someone took the time to give to me. I wanted to give back to these scouts, stay involved,
And so at least 2.5 decades at this point, if not more,
approximately.
and continuing on. So where did you were, you were in the military. Where did you serve? How long did you serve?
I served just under 21 years in the Marine Corps. I retired out of the Marine Corps Reserves. I've been all throughout Southwest Asia. Did 2 tours overseas. Been all over the United States. Rose to the rank of Master Sergeant before I retired. They offered me the last rank in the military, but I had an agreement with my wife if I could make it 21, if she would stay with me for 21 years,
Okay.
that would be enough. And so the bell rang and it was time to retire.
So how many scouts do you have at 21, at Troop 21?
Troop 21 currently has 13 scouts.
And you meet at Sacred Heart?
We used to meet at Sacred Heart. We meet now at Owasco Fire Department.
Oh, okay.
On Owasco Road, 7174 Owasco Road, I believe. And our sponsor is Leon Jesse. And we have an outbuilding there now where all our gear is when we go camping and do outings and with our training.
So when you think of scouts, what's the age range for your troop right now?
We'll take them in at age 11. Right now they currently range from 13 to 16.
Right on track.
Right on track. You can stay in scouting up to age 18, and you can become an adult leader or junior adult leader at age 18 when you age out.
But you have to have your Eagle by 18, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, it's not necessarily that you have to have your Eagle. Say you only make it to life. Once a scout, always a scout. Just like we
No,
say
I
in
don't
the
mean it that way.
military.
I'm sorry. I meant to qualify for an Eagle, you have to do your project and fulfill all your requirements by 18.
Correct.
You can't go over that.
Correct.
So why do you guys want to become Eagles?
Well, for me, it's just kind of been something I started when I was little, and I don't really want to quit. So I figured I might as well get my
If you're
Eagle.
not careful, you never do.
Well,
you come back.
I'm pretty determined to get it.
That's cool. That's great. And why?
For me, I'm generally like a goal-driven person. I'm really ambitious. So Eagle Scout has always been one of the goals I had for me in life.
And are you both either in sports or in music or any other extracurricular activities?
Yeah, I play sports, all 3 sports seasons for school.
What sports do you play?
I play soccer, and then I also run indoor and outdoor track.
Okay.
For me, I write for the school newspaper, and I'm in a few other clubs like the History
Is
Club.
that the Maroon? What's it called?
Well, the Maroon Monthly is through the district, but if you want to see our own high school newspaper, you can go on the Auburn High School website, and there's a link right there to go onto
Okay.
it.
And so scouting has changed a little bit since you were there in the 70s and 80s. They let young ladies in. Are there any ladies in your troop? I know there are some others in Auburn.
They do let girls in now. We do not have a girls' troop yet. You have to have 5,
Okay.
and it requires a female leader. It can be a male leader with the female leader, as long as they're too deep.
Right.
But for BSA guidelines right now, scouting guidelines, they want you to start off with membership of 5 to form a troop.
And I should say, when I say there are young ladies in troops, they're mainly Cub Scouts at this stage. They're not.
Correct.
I don't know if they're in Webelos at this. How many troops are there locally? I know there's one. You're there, but we've got one in Skinny Atlas.
We
I
do
know.
We do in Auburn. We have 4. We have Troop 11, 21,
Where's 11 at?
58, and 43.
11's on South Street.
11, Scoutmaster Seth Jensen.
Meets at the First Presbyterian on South Street.
Yes.
Okay.
And we have us in Owasco. You have 58, who's downtown next to the Y,
Right, at Westminster, okay.
and you have 43.
Where's that one
Sure,
at?
where 43 is meeting.
Okay,
But, we also have two packs right now. When I talk about packs, these are the Cub Scout packs that feed these Boy Scout packs. They are 11 and 43. Now we're trying to start another one at Owasco School, hopefully here shortly in the next year. We'll be meeting with Superintendent of Schools here in the next few weeks and try and get that set up to get more youth into scouting to keep these troops going.
do Scouts join you not as Cub Scouts and Webelos, but come directly into Scouts? Is that jump often made?
It happens.
Okay.
Sometimes they come right into Scouts. Come right in at 11, bypass the Cub Scouts and the Webelos, and they come right in.
The point I'm
And we'll-
making is you don't have to be a Cub Scout or a Webelo to become a Boy Scout.
That's correct.
And what's the time commitment, not the time commitment of you, because it most likely is beyond what you thought time commitment, but what's the time commitment for a young man or young lady in Scouts?
No, their commitment is based on themselves. It's goal-driven upon the Scout. I always encourage them to set their path, enjoy their journey, earn what merit badges you want to earn. I have always challenged the Scouts to challenge themselves, to face adversity and be surprised what you can do once you apply yourself. It's really, it's awesome. What's nice about being here today is, and I can't take all the credit for being a Scoutmaster. I'm balanced by other Scout leaders in the committee and my troop. And all of us have an impact on these Scouts. And the main thing was getting them to be comfortable in their skin and work on their communication, which they're doing very well. Of course, you can see by their
I
achievements.
can. For those who may not know, and they might pick up on some of your badges, but some of them are green ringed and some of them are silver ringed. Mitchell, what's the difference between the two?
A silver ring means that it's Eagle required.
Okay, and green is an optional, like an elective of sorts. So what are some of the badges that you have on there? I know there are some required. What are your non-required ones that some of you have?
One I really like to get was the astronomy one.
Okay.
And I got that in my first year of summer camp. It was really interesting because we got to actually use a telescope right at summer camp, and I'm pretty sure we looked like the moon and a few planets.
Which is unlike now that you can just go to your phone and
Yeah.
look up and see.
But it was really surreal to actually get to use like a telescope with your
So you did years at Camp Rotary, out
Great
on
camp,
great camp, fantastic camp.
a lot of memories.
Where do Scouts camp now? Because Rotary is now part of the Y's taking over part of the land,
Correct.
and I think there's other part of the land is in private developer hands. So where do Scouts go for summer camp?
A lot of them go to different camps all around here in New York State. One would be in Longhouse Council of Sabattis. It's up
Where's
north
that?
in the Adirondacks. Okay, it's about a 4-hour drive and change. We like going to Massawepie, which is also up there. We like going to, what's did we go? Let's see. Tuscarora. We went to, what's the other one we went to where we were younger? It was over on Seneca Lake.
Oh, Babcock Covey.
Babcock Covey, which unfortunately got sold. Other places we camped to is the National Jamboree. when we went.
I'm going to come to that one
Nope.
because that's very cool. Are you still, besides the National Jamboree, are you still doing camps now? When was the last time you went to a camp besides the National Jamboree?
The last time I went to a summer camp was before the National Jamboree. It was the summer before last summer, the summer before we went on the National Jamboree, and that was at Tuscarora.
Okay. And you earned merit badges there as well?
Yeah.
So a long time ago, you went to a National Jamboree.
I did.
In the late 70s, early 80s. You went to two? Two. That has fortunately spilled over into your new troop. You guys went where this year? Last year, I shouldn't say this year, but last year.
We went to the Summit Veteran Reserve in West Virginia.
And that is where? In West Virginia? And
Yeah.
what did you do? How long were you there?
About 12 days, I would want to say.
And what did you do in 12 days?
One of the things we did, which I thought was really interesting and you probably won't do anywhere else, is zip lining over a big lake.
Oh, did
I
you
think-
both zip line?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
And it was really hard for us to get a spot because everyone wanted to do the zip line. They only had like a limited spot, so we had to wake up really early.
So you might want to say, well, how long can a line be? How many people go to the National Jamboree?
Like 15,000.
Yeah, there was, I think it was like 17,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So about half the size of Auburn.
Yeah.
Well, less than half the size, but a large chunk of people.
It's like
are
its
there.
own town, pretty
Yeah.
much.
And how long does, so it goes for 10 days, when is it? Is it July, August? When?
It was like mid to late July.
And did you have anybody cool come to speak to you all?
Well, there was somebody from the FBI who was there who talked to us, and that was kind of cool. I think he was like in charge of like cybersecurity,
Okay.
but the president wasn't there.
Okay, but so I know you had at least one president during one of those. I think it was Jimmy Carter.
Yes.
We were talking about.
Fort Pickett, yeah.
And when you're doing this, besides merit badges and zip lining, what else are you doing? Are you in tents? Are you in lodges? What are you in?
Well, I guess if we were just hanging around and not doing any activities, we would be at the campsite and we had tents set up there. But when we were out most days, and there was tons of stuff to do. They had a whole like water area with an obstacle course on the water. They had BMX and mountain biking and skateboarding and all this stuff.
And how many from Owasco went?
From Owasco, there was 10 of us, 8,
Yeah, I think there was 8.
12 including the leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So when does Owasco meet?
Every Thursday night.
So you're a Thursday night. Do most of the other troops among you, do you all meet on different nights, or are you all the same night?
All different nights.
Okay. If somebody wanted to join, whether it's 21 or any of the other, how do they find out about joining a local Boy Scout troop? Can they find out about it in the schools? I know at at Herman, at a parent-teacher thing a couple weeks ago, I know the Girl Scouts were there, I think. How does the Boy Scouts get their word out?
So communication-wise, we belong to Longhouse Council. Our district director is Ron Hill, okay? His phone number is 315-463-0201. You could also go to the Longhouse Council website. Now we're in Longhouse Council, but we belong to the Towpath district. So the districts are all based up geographically. But if you go into that part on the website, you'll see all the packs that are involved and the troops that are involved, all the leaders, all the contact information. If there's anyone interested in joining Troop 21, or just come to a site visit, you don't have to join the first time you come to a meeting. Come get comfortable, see what we do, meet the other scouts and the leaders.
And you're usually on an academic, there's some summer events, but you're usually meeting late September through June? Is that your normal calendar?
That's the normal calendar. In the last year and a half, I've encouraged the scouts to meet through the summer. It's not mandated that they're there. We encourage the scouts to be active in music and sports and theater. As long as you're not home twiddling your thumbs, why don't you off the couch and being active doing things? So you have the opportunity to choose. Go to sports, go to music, go to scouts. As long as you're moving forward in all those areas.
So where it used to be a mandatory, you had to, it was like the Rotary Club.
Right.
You used to have to go every week, or else you got dinged with a due the next,
Right.
or have to sing a song the next week or something like that. Scouts has changed a little bit in that, because they
It
are
has.
aware that music and sports sometimes, because you're a 3 sport, so I'm assuming there's some nights on a Thursday night you have to make a choice.
Yeah,
correct?
definitely.
So how do you, what goes into what you're making that choice in?
Well, usually when I'm making that choice, I always try to go to Scouts if I can, but there's some nights where I just have to tell myself, like, even though I know I should go to Scouts, I just am not able to.
Okay. Go ahead.
You know what I like to use is a phrase my father used to use all the time, and I didn't understand at the time. So you challenge a young person with the word balance. As they grow through life, you learn to balance and juggle all these things you got going on. And Dad used to say, do your best to balance everything. You'll get there, but enjoy the journey getting there. But challenge yourself and you'll make it. So balance all those things, and look where they are today.
So I want to ask one other question before going back to the registry. You, again, I've known you for many, many years, and I know you're very community involved, very community centric. But your troop is doing other things than just these particular projects, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct. We do a lot of volunteer work. We volunteer through the community, the Owasco Tree Committee. Every time there is trees that need to be planted or helped out conservation-wise, I'll get a call, and I bring it to the Scouts. Now, one important thing I'd like to say is Scouts isn't Scout leader driven. Scouts is Scouts driven. The leaders are all there to protect and provide opportunities, give them opportunities and resources. And that comes from a lot of different leaders, not just Mr. Hai. You know, some leaders I need to give credit to are someone like, especially these past leaders, Rich Null, Mark Rogers, Dave Spearing, Ed Dixon, Doug Mason, Tyson Turner, Paul Guerra, Larry Clark, current leaders that we have, which are, just because I have the label of Scoutmaster, I label them as Scoutmasters because when I'm not around, they grab the ball and they run with it. Dr. Brian Bennett, Mr. Mike Dixon, okay, Mr. Jeff Akins.
So a good core of adults that will help usher things through.
Yes. Who am I missing? Am I missing anybody else? I get them all?
So I want to ask a couple quick questions on the while we have 2 or 3 minutes left. Where does the data go from, the swabs go, you mail them to where?
So the company, the National Marrow Donor Program that I'm doing it through, I think they have headquarters in Minnesota, and so they're going to give me a box that's already paid for, and it'll have the address on it and everything. So I just have to put the stuff in there and then mail it out.
And so somebody will take a swab, it goes there. Does that commit them to be a donor at a future date?
Well, it doesn't commit them, but if somebody is going to swab and go into the registry, then the National Marrow Donor Program would prefer them to come in.
Right. And is there any, how often do they get a match, do you know?
I don't know how often matches are, but I do know that it does happen enough. Like there's a very, like if you,
There's a high probability.
there's a high probability.
And when they do this, are matches limited by geography or?
No, they're not limited by
Okay.
geography. So somebody who's like across the country you could match with them.
How about around the world? I guess that was my other.
Yeah, that too.
So, again, where does this take place?
At Owasco Firehouse,
And what time?
8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
And it is 2 Sundays from now
Yep,
on March 10th.
March 10th. Yep.
People can just come in. They don't have to register. Can they find out about this elsewhere?
Yeah, the town of Owasco has posted something on their Facebook, and the firehouse is gonna post something also about it.
Okay. And you don't have to sign up in advance for this?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to do 2 last things. One, talk to that camera and tell somebody why it's important to do this.
I think that it's important to join the National Marrow Donor Registry because it will not only bring awareness to our community about bone marrow drives and the registry and its impact that it can have on the world, but it also could potentially save someone's life. So I think that's why.
That's great. I'm going to let you have the last word before I end the show, but that is tell a parent or a young person why they should become or consider scouting.
Time permitting. I know families are very dynamically busy. And I challenge you to get outside, get your youth outside as much as you can. You have a lot of leaders like myself and professionals that will guide them and give them an awesome experience in the outdoors. And it's one of the best classrooms you can ever be in. Scouting is alive, it's still strong and growing. We need more scouts. We need young scouts, we need middle-aged scouts. We need some older scouts who want to challenge themselves. So I challenge you to come my way, and I'll be happy to help guide you. And if I can't, my other leaders will.
Thank you. Thank you all three. Good luck on your project, Mr. Bennett, on the idea of doing the swabs for the Scouts for Swabs. Mr. Homick, good luck on your project with the books. That's a great item and revitalizing some of the lending libraries that we have locally. And thanks for what you're doing with
It's my
young men.
pleasure.
This is really great. When I heard about this back in December, this hit all the buttons for me. So we do want to remind people that the Scouts for Swabs event is on Sunday, March 10th at the Owasco Firehouse from 8 to 1. You do not have to pre-register to attend, but we do encourage you. I'm thinking he's going to hit more than 50. That's my thought process, and we'd like to know. Let us know so we can tell people. Go ahead.
They do have, I just want to throw in the pancake breakfast the same time this
Yeah.
is taking place.
Oh, there's an incentive.
Oh, yes. The Scouts will be working the pancake breakfast. They always do that for community service. So they'll be doing both.
Do you have to swab before you eat?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay. I thought I'd ask. So thank you all three. Good luck on this. Good luck on your future careers. From Gerald Ford on, I noticed 21 out of, I think, 21 of the astronauts that we know from the Mercury, Gemini, Apollo programs were Scouts or Eagle Scouts. You're in a great program. Stick with it. Finish your awards. We had hoped we'll be back on Thursday with some news shows. We had hoped to bring you the Food Bank of Central New York's Ms. Belcher in a few minutes. Unfortunately, she was unable to get to Auburn today, and she'll be back with us next Thursday on March 7th. But we'll be back on Thursday with Superintendent of Schools Jeff Perazzola, who unfortunately had to cancel on our last show because he wasn't feeling well, and he was smart enough to say to all of us, I don't want to infect anybody in the studio, and we like when people tell us that. He will be in to talk about his planned retirement, the process for the search for his replacement, as well as where the state budget is and aid for the city of Auburn. We'll also be following that with a discussion on inside government with both representatives from the county health department, who will talk about local lead prevention programs. Deborah Pinkering, who was here back in November to talk about tobacco, as well as the Q County Director of Environmental Health, Andy Fish, will be here, and we hope you'll join us on that. In the coming weeks, we'll have New York State Senator Rachel May, Assemblyman John Lamondis will be here, County Legislative Chair Eileen McNabb Coleman will be here, as well as City Manager Jeff Dygert and new City Comptroller Mary Beth Leeson. We'll also be doing some shows on local foster care, and we hope to bring you some of the candidates that will be in primaries this summer. For Q Community College, I'm Guy Cosentino. We'd love to have you back here on Thursday to watch shows. You can always send us your thoughts for questions at cozguytho@aol.com. But for tonight, have a good evening, have a great tomorrow, and we'll see you back here on Thursday. And they'll tell us that. Thanks, guys. That was great.